Grossman?
I did. Oh, pointed to me right away.
Oh,
It was up here somewhere.
Glassman. Grossman, there. Okay. You have a better eye than I do tonight. Yes.
Shabbat Shalom. And whether you're joining us here in the room or online via our live stream, we are glad you have chosen to pray with us this evening. Given the time of year, now the clocks have changed, we're going to leave the lighting of our Shabbat candles till the end of the service. So for now, we're going to continue on page 130 with L'chuna Ranana as we continue our Kabbalat Shabbat service. Please join me. L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'Adonai, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'Adonai, Naria, Naria, Letzor Yishenu, Nekad Mafana Betoda, Naria, Naria, Letzor Yishenu, Izmirot Naria lo, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'Adonai, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'Adonai, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'Adonai, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'Adonai. And And just a few pages forward on page 138, we continue with Lecha Dodi, and as is our minhag, our custom here at Congregation Sinai, we're going to do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach the final of those verses, verse 9, at that point, I will ask you to please rise and face the door through which we enter this evening. Please join me on page 138 for Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat mekabela. Zachor bedibur echad, Yishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, Leshem ultiferet velitila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat kala, Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mikedem mesucha, sof maaseh b'machshava tchila. Verse 5, Hitoreri, Kiva orech kumi ori, Uri, shir daberi, Kevod Adonai alayich nigla. For verse 9, Ohi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha u'tzola, toch emunei hamsegula, boi chala. Shabbat nekabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Bnei Shabbat nekabela. And please join me on page 144 as we continue with the Chatzi Kaddish, with the half Kaddish, as we mark the transition from our Kabbalat Shabbat service, our service for the welcoming of Shabbat, to our Ma'arif service, our service for the evening. Page 144. Yitgadal v'kadash shemei Rabba B'yamad ivrachiloteh v'yamlich malchuteh B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael Bagala, bagala, ובזמן הקריב והימרו, אמן. יהי שמירה במברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה והימרו, אמן. Page 146. And please join me as we continue reading together in the English in the middle of page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tziraot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. Page 150. Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated and join me as we continue with the Ve'ahavta together on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarata bam b'shiftecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech u'v'shochbecha v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet. And let's continue together with the English at the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, and that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 158. Mi chamocha ba'elim כיפת אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. And please join me as we continue together at the top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162 for the V'shomeru. V'shameru v'nei Sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz uvayom hashevi shavat vayinafash. And please rise and join me on page 164 as we come to the heart of our service, to our Amidah. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konehi Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו בשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומיתו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated and join me as we continue reading together at the top of page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. And at the top of page 175, Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands. You are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yir'ah na'avod. And at the top of page 177, God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. And we'll continue with Shalom Rav on page 178. Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel and all people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael ba shalom. And we'll take just a few moments for our own silent prayer before we come back together in just a few moments with our Oseh Shalom on page 180. Oseh Shalom bimromav. Oseh Shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu. Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. While Shabbat is a time of joy and a time of celebration, We know that when we come together to pray, there are those among us who are in need of healing. In just a few moments, we're going to sing our Misha Berach on page 371. And this week, our community prays for all the hostages and all the wounded in the continuing situation in the Middle East, and also for Amy Teuber, Ben Marcus, Bill Ross, Bob Radke, David Goldenholtz, Deirdre Tischberg, Fiona Powell, Gary Siegel, Gary Sinclair, Genevieve Vermeulen, Heather Reinecker, Iris Cohen, Jennifer Houston, Jordan Jacobi, Karen McDermott, Katie Pels Davis, Kevin Boland, the Konopka and Vermeulen family, Corey Konopka, Leonore Friedman, Mark Eisman, Marianne Gehrig, Marian Resnick, Martha Ross, Michael Ross, Michelle Jacobi, Mike Alvarado, Mosi Ramirez, Pat Kester, Rivka Fegi Bat Phyllis, Rory Langlois, Rosalind Flegel, Sally Ross, Shlomit Bat Esther, Stella Schneider, Stephen Glickman, Susie Garrison, Therese Alvarado, Tom Federlin, Will Thompson, and Joseph Carrasco. And if there is anybody else you're thinking of today, I would ask you to hold their names in your hearts as we sing our Misha Berach together. Of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe berach imotenu mekor bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. There's a midrash that helps us understand the significance of what we're reading in this week's parashah, Parashat Vayakhel. The midrash teaches that after the sin of the golden calf, when Moses first called for contributions to build the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary that will travel with the Israelites throughout the wilderness, they were reluctant to give. This, of course, stood in stark contrast to how eagerly they had given their gold earrings to create the golden calf just a few chapters ago. God then said to Moses, "See how, when it came to the golden calf, they were eager to contribute, as it is written, and all the people broke off the golden rings which were in their ears. Remind them of this, so they might now show the same eagerness to give for the holy purpose of building the Mishkan." What happened next, we're told, was remarkable. After Moses delivered this message and renewed his call for contributions, the people continued to bring free will offerings morning after morning until they had to be told to stop. From the same kinds of materials that were used in idol worship, they now created a dwelling place for the divine presence. What makes this story so powerful is that God specifically wanted the Mishkan to be built from these materials as a constant reminder, a tikkun, a repair for the sin of the golden calf. The people transformed their jewelry and precious materials from instruments of transgression into vessels of holiness. Each time they gazed upon the Mishkan, they were reminded of this transformation from sin to sacred service, also from division to unity, and from destruction to creation. In Parashat Vayakahel, we see this story of transformation unfold. The text begins, Vayakahel Moshe et kol adat b'nei Yisrael, and Moses assembled all the congregation of the children of Israel. And the key phrase that drives this narrative comes shortly after, Kol ish asher nisa'u libo, everyone whose heart moves them should contribute to the creation of the Mishkan, which is to say, this isn't just about communal work, it's an invitation to each individual Israelite to engage in a sacred innovation and exercise creative autonomy in service of building something greater than themselves. As we've just seen in the Midrash, the context for understanding Vayakahel is crucial. The Israelites, anxious about Moses' extended absence on Mount Sinai, had gathered their gold and created the golden calf. That episode represents creativity gone awry, fear-driven innovation that didn't actually seek to serve or connect with the divine, but rather to create something tangible that would substitute for the intangible divine presence. The attempt, however, was ultimately hollow, and in their moment of uncertainty, they misdirected this creative energy. In Vayakahel, we see a powerful contrast. The same precious metals that were used to create an idol are now being repurposed as Terumat Zahav Ladonai, an offering of gold to the eternal. The materials themselves haven't changed, but the intention behind their use has transformed completely. And this teaches us something essential about creative energy. It isn't inherently good or bad, or sacred or profane. What matters is how we direct it, the intention with which we apply it, and whether it serves to connect or to separate. The lesson here isn't that creative impulses need suppression, but that they need purpose, they need direction. The very same energies that once led to division can, with proper intention, lead to meaningful connection and deeper understanding. But what exactly counts as sacred innovation? One definition could be to define it as the process of transforming ordinary materials and talents into objects or actions that elevate the spirit and connect us to something greater than ourselves. Parashat Vayakahel also introduces us to Bezalel and Oholiab, who embodied this principle. We're told that God filled them with divine spirit, with wisdom and with understanding, and with knowledge and with all manner of workmanship. These artisans didn't simply execute a divine blueprint to create something functional. They went far beyond, infusing every element with beauty and with artistry. The text makes clear that they weren't just building containers and furniture that would do the job, so to speak. They were creating objects of extraordinary aesthetic power that would inspire reverence, inspire awe and inspire reverence. Like composers arranging individual notes into a symphony, these skilled craftspeople took the raw materials offered by the community and transformed them into something transcendent, a creation that elevated the basic design into an expression of God's splendor. I think this is sacred innovation at its finest. It's not just about building. It's not just about following a plan. It's about bringing our full selves, our skills, our creativity, and our hearts to the work. This challenges us to see our skills not merely as capabilities, but as channels through which the ordinary materials of our world can be reimagined and through which even our failures and missteps can be redeemed. The Mishkan wasn't built by those who simply had talent. It was built by those who recognized their talent as carrying and being a sacred responsibility. But what's remarkable about this narrative is that sacred innovation wasn't limited to just these named master craftsmen. The beauty of the Mishkan project was its inclusive nature. The text specifically mentions, "V'chol isha chachmat lev biyadeha tavu," and all the women who are wise-hearted spun with their hands. Unusually, this parasha acknowledges the essential contributions of the women as well as the men to this sacred project. The skilled women who spun goat hair and the men who worked with metal were all integral to the completion of the Mishkan. No contribution was considered superior to another. Each was necessary, each was valued, and in so doing, each became sacred. The text's specific mention here of both men's and women's work disrupts the typical power hierarchies of ancient times. It suggests that the divine presence dwells not in spaces built by the powerful, but in spaces where diverse skills are valued equally, a radical notion that challenges us to examine whose contributions we might be overlooking now. Rabbi Sally Prieston once remarked that Judaism has survived because in every generation, Jews have been willing to adapt ancient traditions to modern needs. The building of the Mishkan offers us one of our earliest models of this adaptability and inclusivity. Every person's unique gifts are necessary for building our modern sacred spaces. When we recognize and honor diverse contributions, we create communities that more fully reflect the divine image in which we're all created. The instructions in our parasha that the offering should come from kol nediv libo, everyone whose heart is willing, also resonates deeply with Reform Judaism's emphasis on informed choice and personal autonomy. Just as the Israelites built the Mishkan using their contemporary skills, at its best, Reform Judaism honors traditions while adapting to its contemporary needs. We recognize that innovation is not just permitted, but necessary for keeping our tradition vibrant and relevant. The 1999 Pittsburgh Principle stated this eloquently: "We bring Torah into the world when we seek to sanctify the times and places of our lives through regular home and communal observance." Like the builders of the Mishkan, we are constantly engaged in the work of making the sacred tangible in our world, transforming even our shortcomings into opportunities for greater wholeness and connection. The Mishkan project offers powerful parallels to modern community initiatives. Today, we see sacred innovation at work in social justice projects and interfaith collaborations that bring diverse groups together in common purpose. When congregations partner with local shelters to address homelessness, when faith communities come together to combat climate change, when diverse groups unite to stand against hate and discrimination, these are modern expressions of the same collaborative spirit that built the Mishkan. Our parasha shows us the power of redirecting our creative energies from the golden calves of our time, perhaps our worship of constant consumption, our tendency toward isolation despite digital connection, or our retreat into complacency when challenges seem overwhelming, toward building something that truly serves community and connection. It reminds us that we all have gifts to bring to our communal table, that even our mistakes can become the raw materials of redemption. Our challenge, of course, is to ask ourselves, what specific skill or perspective do we possess that seems too ordinary or too different to be of sacred value? The Mishkan challenges us to reconsider what we've dismissed as insignificant, esoteric, or even mundane. The beauty of the Mishkan wasn't just in its physical splendor, but in how it represented the collective heart of the community. Each gold thread, each piece of acacia wood, each woven cloth carried the intention and spirit of the person who contributed it. When we're able to bring our unique skills and talents and when our hearts move us to action, we continue the ancient work of building a dwelling place for God's presence among us. Not a physical structure of golden fabric, but a community of purpose, of connection, and of meaning. In just a few moments, we're going to begin to bring our service to a close. First with the Aleinu on page 586, after which we'll recite our Kaddish Yatom, our mourners Kaddish together, after which we'll have some time for some announcements before we finish with our Friday night Kiddush. For now, I would ask you to please rise and join me on page 586 as we sing our Aleinu together. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא In a few moments, we'll recite our Mourners Kaddish together on page 598. And this week, our community remembers Michael Stillman, who was laid to rest earlier this week, and Sheldon Bankier and Jim McDermott, both of whom died within the past 30 days, and the following who've died within the past year. Beverly Miller, Susan Weber, Sharon Hyken, Sheldon Greenberg, Robert Sametz, Dorothy Schmidt, Susan Grunberg, Larry Rector, Rhoda Silver, Robert B. Israel, James Yanni, Leo Weinshell, Myrna Grossman, Herb Bratt, Bill Nikud, Dick Kahn, Stanley Jolton, Robin Glickstein, Robert Evan Leib, Dr. Alison Ruth Kravitz, Marcia Fenson, Nancy Osterman, David Hested, Gary Sobel, and Eugene Alberts. And we also mark the Yahrzeit, the anniversary of death, of Esther Ansfield, Libby Becker, Henry Borkowitz, Brenda Capper, Beatrice Chudnow, George Copeland, Leon Glassman, Marvin Goldberg, Evan Goldblatt, Dorothy Granoff, Muriel Greenebaum, Gerald Grossman, Elsie Kanan, Matty Katz, Jerome Kearns, Helen Koppel, Ben Lerner, Emmett Peck, Harold Reif, Charles Rotman, Harriet Sederbaum, Harold Siegel, Jerry Siegel, Harvey Simon, Muriel Tolkien, Arvin Weinstein, Erwin Wirth, and Tommy Yanni. And if there is anybody else you're remembering tonight or anybody whose name I unintentionally mispronounced, I would ask you to please share those names with us now. And we'll continue with the Kaddish Yatom together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach chirutev yamlich malchute, B'chayechon v'yomechon, Uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imeru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach li'alam u'lalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudasha berichu, Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, toshbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imeru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel and to all people, to which we say, Amen. Please be seated.
Good evening. I'm Monica Parks, a member of the Board of Trustees. Much less interesting of the Parks family. No theatrics this evening. Tonight's Beam of Flowers are sponsored by Nick and Janet Padway in memory of Marvin Goldberg and Jeffrey and Pamela Shovers in memory of Erwin Worth. Tonight's Oneg is also sponsored by Jeffrey and Pamela Shovers in memory of Erwin Worth. I will apologize in advance for any unintentional mispronouncings of names. We are grateful for the contributions made this week to our Sinai community in memory of Maddie Katz, Sharon Heiken, Sheldon Bankier, Minnie Rabinovitz, Brenda Bravo Copper, Elise Conan, Gerald Grossman. Join us for the following upcoming programs. Get engaged by participating in the World Congress Zionist Congress election. You can find voting instructions in the e-news, or I believe there's a sign outside still. Please join us for a talk led by Rabbi Josh Weinberg on what it means for progressive Judaism to win this election. On Thursday, March 27th at 7 p.m., you can find the Zoom link in the e-news. Experience Shabbat led by Brit Nashim with Sinai's guest scholar, Dr. Sherry Bloomberg, on Friday, March 28th at 6 p.m. Come learn with one of modern Jewry's most intriguing and compelling voices, our Rabbi Jay and Rita Brickman Scholar in Residence, Dr. Elise Stern, at the following events. Shabbat, led by MCRC on Friday, April 4th at 7 p.m., a presentation, Traditions of Slavery and Sojourning in Egypt by Dr. Stern on Saturday, April 5th at 4 p.m., a talk, Frog Here, Frogs There, Transformations of the 10 Plagues Ritual by Dr. Stern on Sunday, April 6th at 10 a.m. Bring your itsy bitsies to learn and play at Sinai for ages birth to 4 on Sunday, April 6th at 10:15 a.m. in the Itsy Bitsy room. Gather for a night of tradition, community, and good food at Sinai's second night Passover Seder on Sunday, April 13th at 5:30 p.m. Please RSVP on Shul Cloud. For more information on programming, please refer to the Tuesday and Friday Sinai e-news for registration information, live stream, and Zoom links. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
And as we do bring our service to a close, I would like to ask Judith Ross to please join me up at the podium to light our Shabbos candles. And you will find the blessing on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Please rise and join me for the Kiddush on page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila l'mikrei kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat l'chaim. Please join me for the Hamotzi, and if you do want the text, I believe it's on page 606 in the Siddur. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us for our services this evening, and we'll see you in the foyer.